All right, 3, 2.
Hey.
Oh, coffee just hit my nose. Sorry.
Why? Alyssa, why is it when we count down to do the intro, you take a sip of coffee?
You do it really. Graham's
during
like,
the
are
countdown?
you ready to go? 3, 2, 1, hey.
I literally watched you pick it up when I started counting.
Well, I wasn't prepared.
Okay, all right.
Do it
3, 2. Hey, what's going on, America? I am Graham Allen, and oh man, we have another 30 days.
No, where's the hit the no? Hit the button.
Yeah,
The button.
Jake, what are you
Jake,
doing?
the
Where's the
button.
button, man? That's a perfect.
Can't do it every single time,
That
all
is a
right?
perfect
It's my
design.
job.
Leave me alone.
Jake hit the button when we weren't filming. Like, I don't know.
Gosh, no.
All right. Okay. So first of all, let's get the elephant out of the room. The president yesterday said that we will be extending the self-distancing or the social distancing and the quarantine at least until April 30th.
Nancy
scary.
Pelosi.
And
She's
now
scary.
Nancy Pelosi is on the TV behind us. So it's a horrible day, pretty much.
Starting off bad.
Starting off great.
Yeah. And so, okay. At least April 30th.
Mm-hmm.
So
It should peak by around then, right?
well, that's what they
Graham
say.
informed me we can't go on our cruise, so that's upsetting.
Yeah, it's not going to be good. Our anniversary is this week, so we're trying to figure that out. What that entails. Yeah, there's a lot of disheartened people out there right now. I'm not going to lie. I'm starting to get a little stir crazy,
Itchy.
a little bit. It's not that we're not getting out. It's that we're not really able to do anything out.
Right.
Like we get in the car and we ride around all the
Take
time.
walks.
But
We're a go family. We like to go.
can't
and
go to the
do-
movies, can't walk around in stores, can't go
go to
sit at a
school.
restaurant. I can't go to the gym.
That's a big one
Which, by
for
the
you.
way, today I'm buying an indoor gym. It's happening.
you go.
I'm buying it, and then we're going to build it in the garage because I can't handle this
Do some
anymore.
push-ups.
Oh, God.
I try to get him to do my.
I'm not doing
My
Jillian
workout.
Michaels in the
Jillian
living room.
Michaels.
I'm
Pilates.
a grown
No, it's not
man
Pilates.
with pride
It's
in
cardio.
myself. I'm
He
not
won't
doing
do.
it.
I don't think he could get through it. Quite honestly,
Somebody wrote me. Oh, okay. So I like to do fan messages, fan mail. Somebody, hold on. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it while we're sitting here. So we did last episode. We were talking about Joe Exotic.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if it was me, but I'm pretty sure it was me that said it. Let me see if I can find what this.
Have
dude-
y'all finished it, by
what this
the
is.
way?
did.
Yeah, we
We
did
did
finish
finish
it.
And I saw Dan Crenshaw. He had made a post that he's finally sitting down to figure out what this is all about or something.
Oh,
so
boy.
everyone's watching it now.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Sorry. All right. So last episode, I said that Joe Exotic was gayer than gay.
Yeah.
You get in trouble.
And apparently, that is an offensive thing to say. Apparently. So I had a guy write me, and I won't say their name, but we're going to talk about this. All right. I'm gay and one of your fans. I listen to all of your podcasts.
Oh, thank you, fan.
So I was a little taken aback. I think he meant taken aback by your comments regarding gayest and gayer than gay. I wasn't expecting that from you, honestly. I will continue to be a loyal fan, just a little offset by those comments is all. I still love me some Graham Allen. Well, I love you too, and I appreciate that. Look, man, when I say gayest of gay, I'm obviously talking about the flamboyancy and white trashness of Joe Exotic. I'm not saying Joe Exotic is a gay, and I have a problem with that. Now that comment,
Yeah.
I could see you having some offense there. If you have not, you know what this means? This means that they
You
haven't.
must have not seen
He
Tiger
has
King.
not
I've not
seen
seen it.
Tiger
Yeah,
King.
you need to watch it.
If you are defending Joe Exotic and you don't understand my comment of gayest of gay, I don't know what else to say at that point. Watch the show and then come back and let me know if you still
But to
find my
me,
comment not appropriate.
The best part going around right now is just all the memes that are coming out of Joe Exotic.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
no,
those are great.
it is a horrific show. Anyway, all things set aside, we know that we have people listening from across the aisles. We do not discriminate listeners whatsoever.
Right.
You know, there's I have a lot of people all the time from the homosexual community.
The log cabin
Republicans.
Yeah.
I have gone and spoken at their events, etc. When I say things like gayest of gay, that is a comment specifically reserved for Joe Exotic from the Tiger King. And if you have not seen it, that's the only reason why you could draw any kind of offense from that. It's right up there with people getting mad at Trump the other day, saying, "You people," in the Rose Garden. People were trying to say, because of course, it was a black reporter, a black journalist that he said it. The president says, "You people," and
you mean, you people?
All of those people are now on Twitter calling the president racist.
Oh my gosh.
Because he said, "What you mean, you people?"
Yeah, breaking news. They think Trump's racist.
Yeah, breaking news.
yeah. Anyway,
Well, we appreciate him being a fan, and we'll take that into consideration. But
yeah, I mean, I stand by the comment for Joe Exotic. I think you just need to watch the show. All right, so let's talk about some big shocker coronavirus stuff. And later on in the episode, we're going to have a good friend of ours, Danny Merritt, come on.
Yeah.
And to introduce you guys a little bit who Danny Merritt is he's running for Congress in Georgia. But B, he is the co-founder of Nine Line Apparel, the largest patriotic apparel company in the country. And he also is a major in the U.S. Army, and now he's in the reserves. So Danny's going to come on, and he's going to talk to us about this stimulus package. And, why it's good, why it's bad, being a business owner, paying employees, that kind of stuff. Obviously, he is on a much larger, grander scale than we are. And so I thought it could be a really cool comparison, because it's really a completely different conversation for us to try to figure out what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of us. There's like 5 total if you count Jason. And so that's not to say Jason should not be counted. Jason's black. Anyway, the point is people are offended really easily these days. You gotta put that out there. Jason is a valued member of our team. Anyway, the point,
He knows that.
the point, Jason's rolling his eyes right now. Anyway, the point is, I thought it would be really cool because Danny having a conversation about what it's like running a business of 200 some odd employees.
Well, he also has Georgia Land Cattle Company.
Yeah, he's got multiple businesses.
He's got several.
Nine Line is obviously the biggest. But anyway, and he's running for Congress. So it's like a full, perfect storm for Danny to come out here and have a conversation with us. Mm-hmm. But we've got a couple things that we want to talk about before he comes on. But before we get to that, let's get into a sponsor. All right, so our next sponsor is Simply Safe. My truck has been robbed multiple times in the past year, right in my driveway. That's right. Takes a lot of cojones to walk in somebody's driveway and go rifling through their truck. I got kids. Graham, why do you unlock your truck? I don't. My children are little thieves, and they go in there and they unlock it all the time. But I digress. Simply Safe decided to send us a state-of-the-art security system that's super easy to install. All right. I am an idiot, but I can install Simply Safe. It's super simple. You take it out of there. They've got battery packs that apparently last for eternity. You stick them to the doors, the outside cameras, etc. And there you go. It's really cool because it helps the police, it helps you video real-time surveillance to figure out who these people are rifling through your crap. It is a great company. They are fantastic, and they are sponsors of us. Simply Safe blankets your whole home in safety. You get comprehensive protection for your entire home, outdoor cameras, and doorbells alert to anyone approaching your home. You barely notice it's there Anyone can do it, even me. It takes 30 minutes to an hour tops. There's absolutely no trade-offs to your safety. You'll have an army of highly trained security experts ready to dispatch police to your home at a moment's notice 24/7. And it's only 50 cents a day with no contracts. It's why The Verge calls SimpliSafe the best home security system. Go to simplysafe.com/Dear America today, and you'll get free shipping and a 60-day risk-free trial. You've got nothing to lose. Go now and be sure you go to simplysafe.com/Dear America. That's simplysafe.com/Dear America. Let's talk about some of the things that are going on just with coronavirus news before Danny Merritt comes on. All right, let's see here. Airlines warn government aid is not a cure for coronavirus travel plunge. So airlines are already saying, we don't care how much money you give us. It's never going to make it right what we are facing right this second. Hey, man, I've said it point blank. If the end of the world happens and nobody ever flies on a plane again, I'll be perfectly fine with that because I hate flying. $1.5 billion company ZipRecruiter just laid off hundreds of people only days after the CEO said the economy was headed for a steep increase in hiring after the end of the coronavirus. Now, this comes on the Kennedy Center just got, what was it? Was it 35 million or 25 million?
35.
It's one of those. I'm not going to look it up because they're horrible people. And the point is they just got that. The Democrats and Nancy Pelosi pushed that in there into the bill. And what does the Kennedy Center do? They lay off the majority of their musicians the day after they get that in a stimulus package. Disneyland.
How dare you?
Exactly. Disneyland and Walt Disney World now indefinitely closed amid coronavirus outbreak.
Forever.
SeaWorld.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, forever. SeaWorld furloughs 90% of workers because of the virus crisis. More than 400,000 jobs, though, are now available because of coronavirus on necessity and order takeout. However, Alyssa, you're in trouble. Instacart people plan on
Instacart?
Yeah, Instacart people plan on
Not
striking
doing- Why?
today because they want more money for being Instacart
I don't
people.
blame them, especially in these times.
It was 25 million, Kennedy Center.
25 million. Thank you, Jake. All right. Let's see here. Oh, in state news, this is interesting. Coronavirus effects that you don't think about right off the bat. Coyotes are roaming San Francisco's empty streets as the city shelters in place, keeps people in their homes. So apparently because there's not a lot of people out, the
Good
coyotes
times
are
for
running
coyotes.
rampant.
Wow.
Let's see. Michigan governor says shipments of medical supplies canceled or delayed and sent to federal government. Interesting. Bill de Blasio threatens to permanently close New York City churches if they don't comply with social distancing. This is
That's
an
an interesting one.
thing.
Yeah.
So most states have said churches don't need to have their normal sessions because there's
Right.
too many people, et cetera. Well, now Bill de Blasio has taken it a step further to where if you are a church and you say we're going to have church anyway, that he's going to permanently close your church even after the coronavirus stuff is over.
Yeah.
That's a good hashtag, Dear America. Is that, at what point do we throw the Constitution out of our country, right?
Well, that was the guy in Maryland who threw a bonfire, right? And he got arrested because he had 60 people. It was the second time. The first time they said these people need to go home and he complied. He did it again and they arrested him. And I get it. I get, you're endangering other people, but there are certain things that are constitutional, and the church one is a good argument.
Well, yeah, you've got states that are trying to outlaw gun sales and put gun bans in place during this. Texas said, screw you guys. They're an essential business. But this is the last interesting thing. We got 2 minutes before we got to call Danny Merritt here. No, we just did that. Cuomo. Trump's quarantine would be a federal declaration of war, prompting Civil War discussions. So basically, Trump has said New York accounts for like 60% of the confirmed cases in America right now. So right this second, if you got New York tags and they find you driving around outside of New York, you're in some trouble, man. and so New York is apparently upset about this.
He also started a debate about saying that we shouldn't have sent our kids home from school because most of them are now living with their grandparents. He also sparked that. I heard that this morning on.
He's an idiot, people. He's an idiot. Absolute dummy, dumb. Cuomo is, however, 1 minute before we called Danny, the rumor mills now, Tucker Carlson's talked about it. I talked about this with you guys yesterday. And by you guys, I mean Alyssa and her parents. And I just heard about it on Fox News with the president right now. People do not believe that Joe Biden is competent enough to get this. Herbert Humphrey and Richard Nixon had a very similar thing. Herbert Humphrey got the DNC nomination without winning a single delegate. A lot of people think that Cuomo, all this airtime he's getting and all this stuff, a lot of people think maybe Cuomo gets the nod when it all is said and done to actually try to take on Trump. And because the truth is it's no longer funny anymore. There is obviously something wrong with Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And
even Joe Rogan called it out the other day.
Even Joe Rogan called it out. And, you know, we need to arrest his family for elder abuse.
But that's what even my mom, who's like, cannot stand, I mean, I won't put words in her mouth, but she's like, I honestly, to the point, and of course Graham's fixing to freak out, but to where she feels sorry almost for him because he really doesn't.
Well, yeah.
I know we don't agree with any of his values, but at this point it is kind of sad.
If he genuinely has something wrong with his brain, I feel very bad.
Someone help him.
Well, selling your soul to the devil will do that to you. Anyway, all right, so Freedom Project Academy. Normally when we talk about Freedom Project Academy, it's because parents want to protect their children from left-wing propaganda and indoctrination. Now, with school districts closing down due to the spread of coronavirus, you have a new reason to consider an accredited online education from Freedom Project Academy. This is a complete interactive educational experience where students attend live classes with students across the country. Most importantly, they teach students how to think, not what to think. Go to freedomforschool.com. That's freedomforschool.com and request your free information packet today. Enrollment has just begun when the coronavirus hit. So classes are filling up faster than normal because parents are concerned for the safety of their children. This is a great opportunity to enhance their education and keep them safe at the same time. Again, that's freedomforschool.com, freedomforschool.com. Moving on, now, coming up, we're fixing to call him. I like calling them. Some people would cut edit and like just have them on the phone. I like calling them because it's always funny to me if they don't pick up. Danny Merritt. Co-founder, Nine Line Apparel, owner of Georgia or a Southern lifestyle company, Georgia Land Cattle, major in the U.S. Army, and a congressional hopeful in Georgia. Here we go. I love the suspense.
My gosh.
Pick up or not.
Hey, what's going on, man?
One ring answer. Yay! Ladies and gentlemen, veteran, currently, Danny, did I mess it up? Is it a major in the Army? Are you a major?
I am, Graham. I am a major.
Okay, all right. Well, good, because I've said major like 3 times before I called you. A major in the U.S. Army, co-founder of Nine Line Apparel, and congressional hopeful Danny Merritt. Danny, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, thank you so much for having me today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. All right, so let's jump right into the weeds of this really quick. First of all, let's talk about you are running for congressman in Georgia. What district is that again?
Graham, it's Georgia's 1st district, which pretty much covers the entire coastline of Georgia.
Okay. All right. Cool. So what's going on? How is this whole coronavirus thing? This is a question we haven't asked people. Hopefuls for Congress and all this stuff. How is this coronavirus pandemic affecting what you're trying to do to get your name out there, voting? I mean, what are you seeing down there in Georgia?
It affects, all parties equally. I mean, I started campaigning almost a year ago. So I've had, 9 or 10 months of nothing but, public speaking engagements, going out, meeting the guys in the timber industry, meeting small business owners, meeting the farmers. I've probably done 70 plus, public speaking engagements. I've shaken thousands and thousands of hands, but that all came to a screaming halt. So now we're leveraging, media. yourself, we're using Facebook. We have radio ads running. So, we feel like we're in great shape, but we really need folks to go to meritforcongress.com and contribute.
Yeah, well, we don't know very many people that would be better to go up there to D.C. I think you, Dan Crenshaw, Gates, I think a lot of those guys, we need people that are willing to go out there and be a voice for us back here in our respective states. Danny, I want to talk to you really quick. I gave the audience a brief overview of who you are, co-founder of Nine Line Apparel, arguably the biggest patriotic apparel company in the country. I want to talk to you because we've had conversations here about what a stimulus package would look like for a business really small and compact like ours. But you have been responsible for a company that employed hundreds of people. So little things that I'm seeing right now about this current package rate would be Paycheck Protection Program loans is what they're talking about for businesses at a 4% fixed rate. And then the amount of the loan, this is what I thought was interesting because it's not what everybody thinks. Everybody just thinks that you're going to put in for a loan of like, I don't know, $500,000 and you'll get it approved or not. Apparently, they take your past 12 years payrolls and then they divide that by 12 to get your monthly average of a payroll. And then you can apparently take out 2.5 times the average monthly payroll. Now, that, to be honest, doesn't sound like that great of a deal as it was originally sounded like. I mean, 2.5 times an average monthly payroll. How long would that make a business like yours or Nine Line go when you're having this huge breakdown of funds coming in?
I mean, your average small business, firstly, retail and the restaurant industries have probably taken the biggest hit. Your average small business, medium-sized company, has about 30 days of cash on hand.
Right.
So, we were almost, exceeding that with what's been going on, currently with this, massive epidemic. Basically, sat down and talked with my accountant, and he kind of broke down the package to me, in a way that I could understand it the best. And, I think that what the government was hoping to accomplish, and we'll see if they can get it done, basically, if you maintain 90% of your workforce, you're going to get, grants to kind of make up the difference of what the small business is going to be losing during this catastrophe.
Right.
If you maintain 90% of your workforce, it's a grant. If you do not, then it goes to be a loan. Oh. So, I mean, I think that it has the right intentions in certain parts of this bill that is going to be beneficial to small businesses, but it all this comes down to how long is this going to last? If this is going to last to the end of the summer, you're going to see a lot of businesses, change hands. It's unfortunate.
So, Danny, I really want to use this time with you because of your expertise in this area to put some perspective on most listeners, because the vast majority of people that listen to the show are probably not entrepreneurs. They're probably not business owners. They're probably W-2 employees. They go to work. On a given month for Nine Line or your new company, Southern Lifestyle Company, Georgia Land County, what is a monthly payroll expense ballpark to just keep that business running as far as people go?
Well, I'll talk about my new company,
there we go.
A Southern Lifestyle Company. It's a small company. We started it 2 years ago. It's another great brand. We have about 10 employees, 3 full-time. So right now I'm paying 3 full-time employees to stay at home. I've closed down the business because I thought that was in the best interest of, our community.
Right.
So really you're paying, $10,000, $20,000 a month just into absolutely nothing. I mean, you want to,
that's just payroll.
You got to take care of your employees. So, I mean, I'm taking a beating and I can do that. I'm in a great position, personally. So, I'm going to take care of my employees and, hopefully I can redeem some of that with this stimulus package, but to put things in perspective in terms of Congress coming together to get things done for the American people, which we rarely see. Now, let's talk about, if you don't mind, let's talk about some of the things that the Democrats tried to put into this bill.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like,
go for it. Preach it, baby.
Graham, tell me how corporate board diversity is going to help out saving American businesses right this second against a pandemic that's killing thousands and thousands of people right here in the United States.
I have no idea, man. I mean, that's a good question. We were just talking about them giving $25 million to the Kennedy Center, and then the very next day, the Kennedy Center lays off the majority of their musicians that go to work there every day. It's crazy to me what's going on. I'm glad you brought it this direction, because on the surface, there are some good things in this bill. I don't think anybody's really arguing that, but the bill is 1,200 pages. So there's absolutely no way that every single congressman, every single senator, or even the president, let's just be honest, there's no way that they read every single page front to back and forth to figure out what all was in this bill. Are you hearing anything from your colleagues or people that you're working with in the campaign or other congressmen that you know? Are you hearing any just really, really bad things that have been put in the bill?
I mean, I tried reading the entire thing, and it's certainly not going to happen today. But
brutal.
You know, there's plenty of bad stuff in the bill. I mean, you just mentioned one of them. You know, $25 million going to the art center.
Yeah.
You know, this thing should have been focused solely on being able to produce life-saving equipment that's going to combat this virus. Solely on that, solely on making sure that our economy stays afloat during these really, really tough times. I mean, they're comparing what could happen to our country to, you know, the Great Depression. I mean, so certainly out of this monstrous $2.2 trillion package, you know, I think they're spending $500 billion on things like the airline industry, which, you know, it's a tough call. I mean, but you know, we have to have the airlines. We have to keep them afloat. We can't have every airline, you know, collapse. But I don't think that the emphasis, you know, when you have congressional leaders trying to put in early voting, same day registration, you know, airline carbon emission offset, to make airlines carbon neutral by 2025, pretty much trying to say we're going to have solar powered airplanes. You know, so we got to bring.
Heck no. You hear me right now? I'm not getting on a solar powered airplane, Danny. You hear me? I'm not doing it.
Hey, well, that makes four of us.
Yeah. So real quick, I'm glad you brought up something like that too, with early voting and stuff. Biden just came out and said that he wants the Congress to initiate mail-in ballots for the November election. Can you imagine a bigger possible nightmare than trying to go back to mail-in ballots for president?
Oh, can you imagine the fraud that would take place?
Exactly. Or the votes that don't get there.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. It would be a catastrophe in and of itself. Luckily, Joe Biden will probably forget that he said that next week, and you know, we won't have to worry about that one.
Ooh, this is a good question for you, Danny. It's kind of a curveball question a little bit. It's not necessarily about the stimulus package. We'll get back into in a minute. Right before we called you, we talked about the fact of it cannot be argued now at this point that there is something going on with Joe Biden. And we brought up last week the lack of airtime that he and Sanders have gotten during what should be the absolute most saturated time frame for them to be getting on national TV, running ads. But you know who is getting all the time? Cuomo. Cuomo's getting all the time, every single day. He's getting hours of live feed footage for his town halls or addresses or whatever he's doing. There's rumors starting to go that people think that Biden is going to get gypped out of this nomination, and it's going to be somebody that's not even in the race yet. Do you think that that's possible?
I do not think that's possible. I mean, I've been watching Cuomo as well. I mean, he looks like a character from Goodfellas. I mean, he is not he's the non-leader that we need right this second. Contradicts himself every other time he gets on television. I think it's unfair that Joe Biden and Bernie aren't getting enough airtime. I think, unfortunately, the media has figured out that this coronavirus is much more profitable than 100% than the campaign, and there was nothing more profitable than the campaign.
Yeah.
So I think the media has really spun this thing out of control. At the same time, this is a serious virus, a serious issue, but I think the panic that the media has spread, has desecrated the market.
Yes,
and it has not been helpful, man. It has not been helpful at all, and that's unfortunate. It's sad.
Speaking of conspiracy stuff, Jake, with this coronavirus pandemic, a lot of people don't know the back ends of Facebook. For people like us, we do make money from that kind of stuff and videos. Ad CPM revenue is down 60% this month because all the ad space is going towards anything coronavirus CDC related.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you got to ask yourself this question: where's all that money going? Who does that money go to?
That's a good question.
Well, the ad CPM revenue is going towards anything company related wise that are either pushing out info about coronavirus, et cetera, et cetera. People like us, if we do a video about coronavirus, Danny, we get demonetized on that video. They say that you're not allowed to
even
monetize
say the word.
those.
You can't even say the word
you
coronavirus.
You even say the word coronavirus, they demonetize your video, but all the ad revenue is going towards actual companies like pharmaceutical companies, any kind of medical equipment companies, any kind of fact check companies talking coronavirus. That's where all the money's going.
And the census.
Yeah. Oh, and the census. Yeah. Anyway. All right. So
I mean, yeah, that's ridiculous. Don't even get me started on the big pharmaceutical companies.
Oh yeah. So Danny, okay, let's talk congressional thing. Congressman Merritt. All right, let's talk.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it does. It sounds real good.
Really
Really good. Congressman Merritt. Anyway, let's talk about this. Okay, let's say worst case scenario stuff happens here. Let's say for the listeners listening that are in Georgia, let's say that you're in Congress right now. What is Congressman Merritt's focus moving forward? What are we lacking in Congress right now as far as representatives for the people go?
So that's a great question. So, a lot of people are really excited about voting for me solely on the fact that I'm a veteran, which you are as well, Graham. And I think that's great. I think that a veteran in Congress is certainly, we're going to do the right thing. We know what it takes to put everybody first. But I'll tell you what, it's the businessman in me that would really make an impact.
I agree.
You ever remember the concept or the saying in the Army about the good idea fairy?
Oh yeah.
Where somebody comes up with this good idea and it has this ridiculous trickle down negative impact on the entire company or battalion. Well, that's what happens when you have folks like AOC up in Congress. They have this great idea, right? The Green New Deal. But they have zero idea on how that impacts, let's just say, the timber industry, the number one industry right here in the state of Georgia. And timber, ding, 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 being a renewable energy source, trees continue to grow.
Yep.
But they don't understand that when they have these great ideas up in Washington, D.C., they do not understand how it's going to affect a small business, which employs the majority of the country. It is the engine that makes this economy, it's the rocket fuel for our economy.
Yep.
And you have so many lawyers, doctors, dentists, and in her case, a waitress. Love waitresses, love bartenders, but guess what? They don't bring that same skill set as somebody who started 3 businesses and really understands, what the local economy and how screw ups in DC can break a family-run business for multiple generations with their good ideas. So I think what I bring, Graham, and I appreciate it, is, I bring, the selfless service of a combat veteran, but I also bring the common sense of an average person who is able to really live the American dream and build some great businesses along the way. So those are the two big things that I really bring to the fight.
Yeah. Well, no, I agree. I mean, obviously, I think there is a balance. I think you need those people in Congress that are, the people truly get behind just by them talking.
Yeah.
I think that there's a whole bunch of things, right? Like, obviously, say a president, for example. A president isn't a master of everything. Right. That's why he's got his advisors and everything like that, experts in that regard. I think Congress is very similar. I think you've got congressmen and women that are truly those motivational type people, the will of the people kind of things. And then I think that you've got people that can be both, much like yourself. You've got people that can be motivational, but you also have people that know what the crap they're talking about when they say, no, this is going to hurt small businesses, because businesses do not operate that way. You see AOC and Omar and Tlaib and Presley that come on and they throw all these good ideas out, but they have absolutely no idea how economics work, how business works.
They claim to be the morally superior party too.
Yeah, which most of the time means that you're stupid when you say things like that.
It does the opposite of that too.
Right. So, Danny, one last thing. I want to ask you just your overall opinion from this, and I want to ask you from a businessman's perspective this time on this. Two things. One, as a businessman, do you think that this stimulus package is a good deal? And obviously, from what we know about it, answer it from what we know. And then two, where do you see the economy going? We know we've got 30 days. I personally think it's going to go much longer than that. But where do you see, one, is the package a good deal? And two, where do you see the economy going?
I don't think we really know yet, whether this has been, a minor flesh wound or a sucking chest wound. I think it's gonna take a few more weeks to really understand how long this is going to impact everybody across the country.
Right.
So I don't have the answer. I don't know what is going. I wish I could predict the future, but I'll tell you, this is going to significantly help small businesses in the short term, but we don't know how deep this cut is. On the second thing, to kind of really put things in perspective, is you got to ask yourself, Graham, where is this $2.2 trillion coming from? Right this second, we're spending $1 million every single minute on debt. Every single minute we're adding $1 million to the deficit, and we're literally printing $2.2 trillion out of thin air. Mm-hmm. And we've been doing this for quite some time. So yeah, you can't print yourself out of this type of situation forever. Right. So at some point, and I think every one of your listeners is going to agree with me, we have to tackle this debt. This debt has so much to do with national security. And, take a look at the penny plan. It's something that I support. It's something that Merritt for Congress supports. It's like, let's get through this. We just printed another $2.2 trillion. But let's when we get through this, which we will, the markets will come back. When we get through this, let's really tackle two things. How do we make sure that this never happens again? And if it does, we got to be prepared to handle it way better than we are right now.
Right.
Two,
I agree.
Let's start to knock the piss out of this debt. So instead of having a, $30 trillion deficit, it'd be really nice right now to have a $5 or $6 trillion surplus, so we can handle events like this. And what is it going to take? Cutting 1% spending across the board for 6 years, we could wipe out our national debt. So I ask everybody to ask themselves this question: can every household in America deal with 99% of what they spent last year? And the answer is absolutely. And so can the federal government. And Graham, they always say, oh yeah, but we can't touch our military. Guess what? We buy $78 hammers. we can cut 1% on the military also.
Yeah, no, I agree. Sometimes I sit back and wonder, because I pay a lot in taxes. I wonder where all this money's going at the end of the day. And I think that everyone realizes that we're in a huge issue with the debt, which is why a lot of people are worried about this stimulus package. But Danny, hey, all that spoken like a true congressman, man. I mean, I was sitting here going, I was like, dang, Danny sounds really like a congressman already. Where can people go, Danny? Obviously, you're an amazing friend of us. You're a great person. You take care of people. You're a proven, successful businessman and a veteran. Where can people in Georgia, especially in your district, go to support you and your congressional run?
I really appreciate that. If people could go to Merritt, MERRITT, forcongress.com and donate, it really helps. And let me put it in perspective. 90%, 97% of my opponent has raised, almost $2 million in dark money, large dollar donations.
Right.
From outside the state, pharmaceutical companies, the swamp rat that we're trying to get rid of.
Yeah.
We've had 100% of all of our donations come from small donor dollars, and I've self-funded a lot of this myself. So if folks could go to meritforcongress.com and chip in, $20, it really adds up. And when it comes to, being a congressman, it really comes down to who are you representing. If you're being funded 97% by out-of-state big pharmaceutical companies, and that's who you represent.
Oh, yeah.
So we're running a true grassroots campaign at meritforcongress.com. We've got hundreds of people volunteering, and I'm running a race that I can be proud of, and my kids can be proud of, and we're gonna make an impact. A new squad is coming to Washington D.C. on the R ticket, and I'd love to work with the Dan Crenshaws and all the good folks that we have up there.
I love it.
That's awesome, man.
All right, Danny, look, man. Hey, everybody go to meritforcongress.com. Support Danny Merritt right now, a businessman that actually knows what it means to run a business and how it affects you. Meritforcongress.com. Danny, thanks so much for coming on the show, man. Let's have you on again soon, okay?
Sounds good, brother. I appreciate all you do for America, man.
All right, brother. Later.
See ya.
Bye.
Danny's such a solid dude, man. I met Danny, goodness, I guess it's 4 years ago now, when Nine Line was still like this small company.
Yeah.
And what they've done to take that company, it just, anyway, support good people actually trying to run to support you. The truth of the matter is Danny is a millionaire. Danny does not need the money of a congressman. He's doing this because he wants to and because he thinks he can make a difference. And that's something that I think needs to be said too, is that he will actually lose money to be a congressman.
Yeah.
And it just really shows his heart's in the right place. meritforcongress.com. Go right now. All right, back to us.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any news that's not coronavirus related?
Man, I was trying to look it up. It's just
it is really hard.
It's very difficult to find anything.
Let me see. I've
that's
got
not related to coronavirus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rhode Island is now using military personnel to hunt down certain people. Over coronavirus. So yeah. All right. Let's end with this. Just horrific view on society. There are
lovely ending.
There are people, not just a couple now, a lot of people, to include doctors, who are going around, either they have COVID-19 or they're pretending that they do, coughing on people, touching people, licking things in grocery stores. It is insane the amount of people that are going around doing this. And so now they're going out and they're hunting these people down. I showed a video about this guy that was licking toilet seats for the coronavirus challenge. And just the other day, it's reported that he now has coronavirus.
Shocking.
Go figure.
Because you're licking toilet seats, you idiot. Also, with all this craziness that's going on with people trying to say that you can't buy guns and all this stuff, ladies and gentlemen, now's the time to make sure that you support the companies that support us, Red Arrow Weapons. They're fantastic individuals, 100% made in America rifles. Make sure that you go check them out. They're fantastic people. Kip Campbell and the Red Arrow guys are fantastic to us. They're fantastic to America. Also, Alyssa, you have some big news of something coming very soon.
I am starting Hey America tomorrow. Yay!
What's Hey America?
Graham takes up all the time, and so I have things I want to say too. I never have time to. But no, it's going to be more of an encouraging, uplifting, still talking about current events, current things going on, but more from a mom-wife perspective, ending with a nugget, which is kind of what I'm known for on my social media platforms. So yeah, so it starts tomorrow.
Awesome.
So super excited.
Yeah, so hopefully here soon we will have maybe eventually a full week's worth of entertainment for you guys by the time it's all over with. And so, we're really trying to make sure that we bring you guys the content that you want and new content that we think that you're really going to enjoy as well. So we're really excited about Alyssa's new show. She's already got a lot of really cool interviews under her belt.
With a twist. We have a twist to
with a twist. And so so there's going to be a lot of really cool things for you guys to listen to. That launches very soon. So be on the lookout for that. Get ready to subscribe to Hey America. And I think it's a catchy title, but
Because you came up with it.
I did come up with it. Anyway, all right. So thanks for ratting me out. All right.
No problem.
That's all we have for this episode of the Dear America podcast. Jake, where can they find you?
Find me on Instagram at producer_Jake.
And Alyssa?
You can find me at Alyssa Allen on YouTube and Instagram.
And of course, I'm Graham Allen. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Dear America podcast. Tell one friend, subscribe, give us a review. It helps us in the polls. We are done today. We've got 30 days left of quarantine. Hopefully we don't all murder each other before it's over with. Thank you guys so much for choosing to listen to the Dear America podcast, and we'll see you all again next time.
See ya.
Bye.